was to sit patiently and wait for a flat tire, an unexpected medical bill, or a toxic job. I realized I didn't have to spend another day at that job because I had options. So, on a chilly day in January, I got to politely say fuck off to a bad situation. I walked out the door standing a little straighter, smiling for the first time in months. I was in control, as opposed to being controlled. It felt good. This is the feeling I want for every woman. I was lucky enough to have parents who gave me a financial education. I saw my dad routinely call our cable company to negotiate our bill. I saw my mom balance the checkbook on the 13th and 21st of every month, using software from the 1800s. They taught me how to be a smart saver, how to use a credit card responsibly, and how to use money as a tool to build a life you love. We worked together. My parents carefully saved, and I had 3 jobs while in school so that I could graduate debt-free from college. They didn't grow up with much, so they were committed to providing both an emotionally and financially stable life for me. And because I didn't know any different, I thought this was the case for everyone. I thought everyone had this kind of stability and guidance. But as I grew older, graduated high school, and went to college, I realized that financial education was a luxury only those with access to financial resources could pass on to their families. Having a financial education was a privilege. Being a cisgender, straight, able-bodied white woman with a middle-class upbringing was a privilege. And with that privilege came responsibility. I graduated from college in 2016, 5 months before Donald Trump was elected. As I came into womanhood, learning how to navigate my life and career in a society rooted in systemic oppression, I was deciding on the person I wanted to be and what I stood for. I began to unpack my own privilege and wanted to use that privilege to help others. It was the push 22-year-old me needed to build something larger than herself. And so I founded her first 100K to fight financial inequality by giving women actionable resources to better their money. Nothing inspires me more than to see a woman standing in her own power. It's my favorite fucking thing. But when I entered the workforce as an adult, I saw sexism everywhere, to the point where women were so beaten down that they doubted their own power. I watched friends get paid less than they were worth. I saw women of color continually get passed over for opportunities. I learned that women hold the majority of debt in America and that they invest less of their money for retirement than men, though we live 7 years longer. A financial foundation provides choices, small yet impactful choices, like the ability to take a revitalizing vacation, purchase little luxuries without guilt, or donate to causes you believe in. And big life stuff choices, like starting a business, having children, or retiring early. And most important, the choice to exit toxic situations, like leaving an emotionally abusive relationship or an anxiety-inducing job. Back in 2017, when I felt powerless and scared in a toxic situation, my bank account was the answer. My financial foundation meant I had options. We live in a patriarchal world, a system that aids and abets inequality. In this system that has gatekept financial information and tools from marginalized groups, it is an act of protest to be financially independent. It is an act of protest to overcome negative beliefs about money in order to save, pay off debt, invest, and find fulfilling work. It is an act of protest to prioritize rest instead of hustle, abundance rather than scarcity, and generosity in place of stockpiling. In a world that actively works to keep us playing small, it is an act of protest to be stable, content, and powerful. It's deeply important to acknowledge that there's only so much of our financial experience we can control. Personal finance is about 20% personal choice and 80% circumstantial. Yet historically, money experts' advice has suggested that if you're broke, in debt, or financially struggling, it's entirely your fault. We cannot discuss personal finance, money, or economics without discussing systemic oppression.